This is going to be one of the easiest movie reviews I've ever done. Paddington Bear is just pure goodness in this world, and you should just watch this movie and all of the Paddington movies. Just do yourself a favor and make your life better and see this frickin' bear. Paddington, released in 2014 and is directed by Paul King, who's also directed such films like Bunny and the Bull, Paddington 2, Wonka, and is also behind part of the story of the third Paddington movie, Paddington in Peru. And this film is starring Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Julie Walters, Jim Broadbent, Peter Capaldi, Nicole Kidman, and the voice of Ben Whishaw as Paddington Bear. Deep in the jungles of Peru lives a bear family who specialize in making marmalade. However, after a terrible accident, the young bear named Paddington is sent to London by his aunt to hopefully find a good home and possibly the researcher that visited them many years ago. Well, upon entering London, Paddington doesn't know exactly what to do until the Brown family stumbles across the bear and invites them to live with them for a couple of days. And over the next couple of days, Paddington discovers how homes work in London and how manners work in London, and he kind of makes a mess of a couple of things, but he does it in a very proper and gentlemanlike and apologetic way. And I'm not kidding in my intro when I said this is going to be the easiest review I've ever done. Since I've stumbled across these films and allowed myself to open up to them, when it comes to these live-action / CGI animation films of these childhood characters, I'm skeptical of them because I've seen films like The Smurfs, and that's just... oh god, that just didn't work out. And Paddington was always one of those childhood books that I do remember reading a couple issues of them, but never really stuck with me. And I really wish it would have, because this lovely, lovely bear just makes your life so much better, and this film makes your life so much better. I've already reviewed Paddington 2, which many people consider to be the greatest movie ever made. It's a running gag in that Pedro Pascal, Nicolas Cage movie where they're like, what's the greatest movie ever made? And they're like, no, it couldn't possibly be Paddington 2. And then they watch it and like, yup, okay, that was freaking amazing. And it's true, Paddington 2 is fantastic. So going back, watching the original one, that movie is not as great as it is without the start and without the initiation of this bear to this family in London. Without this movie is equally fantastic in my book. The curiosity of this bear is so genuine, and he never wants for himself. He always just wants what's right, and he always wants to do what is best for, one, himself, but also for the people around him and in his community. And I think my favorite aspect of not just this movie, but just this whole character and this idea in general is that everyone, they see Paddington Bear just walking down the street, and he talks, and everyone's okay with that. That's not out of the norm for them. This is a bear, he's talking, and he's talking very properly to them. So yeah, of course, come on, work in my antique shop, or yeah, you can get you a little paper, or we can get you something to eat. Absolutely. Thank you very much, sir. But of course, this is the first entry, so not everyone is so infatuated with the idea of a bear living in their house. Mr. Brown definitely doesn't like the idea, although he comes around in the end and he sees that, okay, this bear has good intentions and he could be good for this family. He sees how the kids take to him, he definitely sees how his wife takes to him, and Paddington helps Mr. Brown kind of break out of his shell and try something new and live a little bit of life that he's been missing. So that when we get to the climax and they're going up against the evil trapper, or at least the daughter of the hunter who they saw many years ago in Peru, he is willing to take a bullet for Paddington. He is willing to stand in front of him and protect him and accept him as one of the family. It just makes your heart so warm. This movie just makes you feel good. And a movie that sparks so much warmth and joy in your heart and in your mind, like, how could you give this a negative score? This is so genuine. This movie is so great. And we have an understandable backstory for the villain. Nicole Kidman's character, she was the daughter of the hunter, and they were expelled from the order, and they were shamed. They were cast out. They had everything going, but because he was so infatuated with the bears in Peru, she set out on a one-person mission to vow vengeance for the bears that ruined her life. I totally bought into it, and it made sense for me. There's really nothing more to say. The original Paddington, as well as Paddington 2, are just two movies that make your life better. And I think the more people that see these two films, I'm excited to see the third film that comes out here in the US this weekend. Of course, it's already been released in the UK. Just one of the things that the UK have that are just better than the US. They get Paddington. They get Paddington early, people. But these films just make your life better. This character makes your life better. I want a Paddington in my life. How could I not give Paddington 5 out of 5 Blu-rays?
I think I see blue. He looks glorious.
So guys, if you've seen Paddington, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, awesome, please comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.